today to Heather's test kitchen. We are making some chicken and pesto today. I am currently starting to boil some water. We're gonna grill the chicken first and then we're gonna make the pesto. I'm also really being kind of impatient right now because I'm hungry, but it is what it is. So the pesto that I'm using is from Venice, I believe. The directions for the actual, so it's like a dried version of the sauce, and the directions for it are actually all in Italian. I've made it before though, and you basically just add oil to it. I'm actually going to be making a creamy pesto version of it, so it's going to be a little bit creamier. I'm going to add some oat milk to it. Yeah, we're going to let this water boil, and then I'm going to start on the chicken while I let the water boil. Then we will switch to making the sauce. The chicken's really simple, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on that. But that's what we're going to eat tonight. I'm doing real pasta tonight instead of zoodles because I did zoodles yesterday and I felt great about myself. But sometimes you just need some carbs. So that's what we're doing today. Okay. Okay, so we've got our pot for the chicken. Normally I would use a actual skillet, but because I don't want to use 3 dishes, I'm just doing it in the same pot that I'm going to be making the sauce in. So I'm dicing the chicken right now. And then I'm going to add a little bit of garlic pepper seasoning and Italian seasoning to it. I would add some fresh oregano because I do have some homegrown dried oregano that would be really good with this, but because I'm already going to be adding it to the pesto sauce, I feel like that's a little bit redundant. I might throw some of the oregano sauce mix itself in with the chicken once I get it in the pot. Normally I use chicken breast, and I do have some of that, but this is thigh meat. That's just because that's what they had at the store, because everyone's out of everything because, you know, Corona. So, and then we will throw this in there with a little bit of butter and that seasoning that I mentioned. So we've got that going. You can hear it sizzling. It's very aromatic. I'm just finishing cutting up the chicken here, and then we'll reduce the heat and let it cook fully before moving that to a plate and starting on the sauce itself. I'm using 3 pieces of the thigh, which is probably more than I need. And then I can always add it if I make, you know, too much chicken and or sauce than noodles. I can always add it to zoodles tomorrow when I'm feeling like I want to be healthy again. Okay, that water is starting to boil now, so I'm going to add the noodles. I'm just using traditional spaghetti noodles. Again, that's all they have in the store. No, I think I got this actually before the Rona. And I do have like a measuring spoon for how much pasta you're supposed to make for like 1 serving. But who actually follows that anyway? And also I'm gonna cut these in half because it cooks faster when they're shorter. I don't think that's true, but they fit better in the pot when you do that. So that's gonna take about 12 minutes to cook thoroughly, and then the chicken will take probably less than that. We'll see. And then the sauce. It's gonna take a minute, but that's okay. Update, chicken is cooking, noodles are boiling, and I'm drinking Capri Sun because I had a little bit of sugar because I waited too long to eat boobs. Guys, I made a lot of chicken. Oh well. Now the trick with the kitchen setup that I have is that I use like an electric stovetop. And when I'm using them both at the same time, sometimes it takes a minute to heat things up, but I've got a pretty good heat cycle going on right now. I have the noodles on the smaller size just because they can take longer because I put the noodles in earlier, and the chicken is taking a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but that's okay. It's smelling delicious, which is pretty much just garlic, so I guess that makes sense. Oh, also I feel like I should clarify, when I said Venice, I mean like Venice, Italy. Shout out Italy. They're really going through it right now. So for those of you wondering, this is my little kitchen setup. That's my phone stand for my vlogging. So I've got a little island here with the chicken going and the noodles boiling. I think the chicken is just about done. There's just a lot of it, so but that's fine. The chicken's almost done. The thigh meat is a lot darker than breast meat, so it almost looks pink, but it's like cooked through, you know? I do have to make sure I cook that through. I don't not want to be getting ill because, you know, Rona. Okay, so I've decided that I'm going to be adding some Parmesan cheese to the pasta. And then I have just a little bit of whipping cream left. This is from like a month ago, but whipping cream also says it's good until Best by April 12th. And it smells fine. So I'm gonna try this bad boy out. I'll walk you guys through the process because it is a little bit interesting the way that this sauce works, because you have to like let it grow from the oil and like water combo first, and then that's when you can add all of the fun stuff. Okay, so I've got a really good simmer going on in the pot of that I'm gonna be making this sauce in. So I looked up the instructions once, like on Google Translate for the actual recipe or like instructions, because they do have like a recipe here, and it's just water plus this stuff until you get like a good texture basically, but it takes a minute for it to work out. So what I'm gonna do is like tablespoon by tablespoon basically. I'm adding this to the pot and we're gonna let it boil into a really thick pesto. I'm gonna move you guys. So see what we've got going on here. So that's just the dry stuff and some water. So traditional pesto is just like green stuff and oil basically, just super pulsed through with like a food processor essentially. I don't know how they did it in the old days, but that's how you do it now. So you can see even just in that couple minutes, it's really thickening up. Here in a second I'm gonna add some Parmesan and then we'll add the whipping cream after it thickens up a little bit. The traditional way you make it doesn't include any milk, but the creamy pesto is so good, especially with chicken and pasta. Look at this. I'm gonna have to turn this heat a little bit as we thicken it, but look at that. Just add some oil to it. Oh, it's a little bit foggy because it's steamy, but yeah, it's really nice and thick now. So now I'm going to add some of the whipping cream. I might add some milk too if it's still a little thick. Okay, so it's not coagulating the way that I want it to, but I've done this before so I know it can. So we're just gonna give it a little bit more heat, let it kind of evolve a little bit. We might add some more actual literal the pesto sauce. The more heat that I put on it, the more it's going to kind of coagulate and mix into a really creamy pesto. Even now, like you can see, it's doing it a little bit. We just need to add some heat to it, I think. So stay tuned. Okay, so this is nice and bubbly. So I did turn that heat off, and look how beautiful creamy that is. I am so pumped. The noodles are just about done too, and the new butter chicken. So yeah, see my proportions? Not even close, but it's fine. Okay guys, first taste test. It was so good. So try it out if you'd like. Like I said, the recipe was made up in my head. The sauce itself you can only get in Italy, which is under quarantine right now, so you can't actually get it. And now I'm out of whipping cream, so I also can't recreate it. Thanks for coming to today's episode of Heather's Test Kitchen.